Yeah, 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 yeah. Yo, welcome back to another edition of the Men Who Cry podcast. Like, subscribe, review, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. If you not do these things, I have to assume that you were one of the people in the comments defending Shador having 5 sacks and making 3 passes completed. Anyway, on today's episode, we are finally back talking about live sports, talking about the NFL. Had to get my guy back in, the one and only Giants Nation stand up. Reek Parker is back. Reek, how are you doing today?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed. That's where I'm
But are
at.
you
I'm
highly
blessed.
favored?
Man. I serve a powerful one. I
There you
serve a
go.
powerful
You always
one.
need that
And
two step. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, exactly. It's as simple as this. I'm covered in the blood, and I walk with the faith. I feel
There
good,
it
baby.
is. There it is. What was it? The way, the truth, the lie. I was talking
God
to
is
someone.
good
There's an
all the
old.
time.
There was an old. No. It's funny. There was an old restaurant in the city. It was called The Way. It was a Chinese restaurant. It was right by Junior's actually. Fire. Loved it. Went away because of the pandemic. And my boy brought it up to me the other day. We were just talking about it, and and I made this joke. I said, before there was the truth and the light, there was
The
the
way.
way.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
There's the
saying?
way.
That's what you always
You're
need,
right.
son. You need the way, truth, light. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go to all those Bible camps for nothing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Little
It's
Bible
crazy
camp.
because the kids go back to school here this coming up Monday, and like they all had to figure, like the town had to figure out something to do with these kids. You know what I'm saying? In between camp ending and school starting, just like a week. Sent them ass vacation Bible school last week.
That's where they at.
So
That's where you gonna find Jesus and not
yeah,
find condoms.
exactly.
Anyway, on this edition, we are talking ball. We're gonna do it a little bit differently. We're gonna try to hit all 32 teams. And basically, how we're gonna do it, we're gonna do a little bit of a smorgasbord. Smorgasbord is a buffet style of food that you can pick up from. We're gonna do this like NFL teams. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put 2 teams for Reek to talk about. He's gonna pick one, and he's gonna gobble up on that. And then from that point, we're going to have the one that's left over on the table. We can either choose to talk about that, and then we'll pick 2 more teams, or he could pick another team in another food category to pick up. And once he does that, I'll let you guys know the food categories when we get there. But the teams that we will talk about to start will be the 2 teams that played the last game of the season. Yes, we were talking about the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. So, Reek, which team do you think will have the better season of the 2? The Eagles or the Chiefs?
Appreciate the introduction. Appreciate the question. I think, truthfully, the team that's going to have the better season is the Eagles.
Okay.
Better regular season is the Eagles.
Regular season. So we are checking off the Eagles. Bet. Why do you feel the Eagles are going to have a better season than the 3-time Super Bowl appearances? 3-time
Yeah,
AFC champions. That's what I should say.
yeah, 2-time AFC champions. But simply put, their organization is just kind of built around winning and supplying their need to sufficiently fill any holes that they have. And that could be with Howie playing financial gymnastics with every contract. Somebody that he signed, make sure he extends somebody here so that there's more money to spend for a free agent. They draft really well. They've drafted really well. The last few years, even going back to last year, drafting 2 need-based starters on their defense and them having a tremendous role. Both ending up in the top 100. Those two rookies, Zach Bowen coming over being an All-Pro, and then
And I would also argue the best player of that group wasn't even there yet in Jalen Carter.
that's what I'm saying. And we're like a year ahead of that, right? And you got to think that the next time Dex gets a new deal, Jalen Carter's going to fall in that realm of top tier, top 1A, top one. Money for somebody that's an interior defender. So on defensive side of the ball, they just made things work. On the offensive side of the ball, they also make it work because they have the 2016 Cowboys offensive line, and then they have the best running back in football. Toss up between him and Jahmyr Gibbs, and they have a sufficient and a very capable and ready quarterback that we just saw, right? And as far as their pass catchers, Dallas Goedert, AJ Brown, Smitty, they kind of uh, across the board are just really sufficient. And then again, like I've said, they drafted really well. So for the Eagles, I think they'll have a better regular season than the Chiefs.
All right. So we have the Eagles are off the board. Um, we are done with that. So we can still talk about the Chiefs, or I'll actually give you the team. We're going to go to I'm going to try the second to none category of the food list. So it's either going to be the Chiefs or the Texans. Which one of those teams do you think will have the better of the two records? We are going Chiefs, Texans.
All right. I want to talk about the Texans. And I'm not just moving away from the Chiefs just because, we all have either grown to either hate them or love them.
Listen, this is your list, bro. You don't got to qualify with me.
Listen, I got all the respect in the world for that team in Kansas City. Chiefs, great. They're good for football. And I respect and I love winners. So you ain't gonna no hate out of me. But I'm gonna talk about the Texans.
All right, we're going with the Texans.
This Texans team is real well coached, very well coached. On both sides of the ball, and D'Amico Ryans is a hell of a head coach as well. But I don't think there's enough respect paid to C.J. Stroud, and I'm not just talking about my Ohio State brethren, but like he's a phenomenal thrower to football. He's mobile, but deceptively mobile, right? Like running isn't his first choice. He's going to sit back and he will tear you apart, with his arm. That's another team that has drafted very well, and with Derek Stingley Jr., with
Will Anderson.
Will Anderson. That for my money, Derek Stingley is the second best corner in the league behind P2. They have a defense that is good, very good, and it's not a team that you're going to want to play in November when you are struggling to get out of your own division, right? And you're just getting back on your feet. Oh, we got 2-3 wins in a row. Now we got to travel to fucking hot ass Houston and they smack you. Defense travels, and they have an offense that's not going to put them in too many binds. There is a little bit of a hiccup because Joe Mixon, obviously, out for the first 4 weeks of the season. However, they did just sign Nick Chubb, right? And we're not talking about Nick Chubb old. I get it. So that there is a little bit of a layover. However, that old horse can still giddy up. So, I am a Houston Texans fan, and I think that's the sneaky team coming out of the AFC.
Okay. I'm a little concerned about their offensive line. They traded Laramie Tunsil to the Washington Commanders.
That's fair. That's fair. And the offensive line hadn't been good in the past. But
yeah, that's my point.
Made it to the playoffs, right? Like
exactly.
And won a playoff game.
Yeah, they did. They every time they always get that Saturday game, and they always seem to win that
Saturday game. It's just like, this is the reason why you should be watching us all year long. Any respect on the regular season, and it's because we're outshadowed by the drum entry in Dallas, and like we're a better team, we're a better organization, currently, and we have a better quarterback than you guys, and you still just want to talk about the people with the star in their helmets.
Facts. But we will see. I agree. They're still definitely the favorites to win the division. Okay, so we still have the Chiefs on the table. If you want to feast on them, or we can always go to their old rivals. Do you want to talk about the Buffalo Bills? Chiefs or Bills?
All right, now we can talk about the Chiefs. And
all right, there we go. Chiefs finally off the list.
So it's not that
they get you again, Buffalo. They get you again.
Yeah, no. It's not that I don't want to talk about the Bills, but it's just like, if you have any thoughts, turn to HBO on Tuesday night, 9:00, and you'll be able to form your own story about it, right? They're on Hard Knocks right now, and there's a lot of great television coming for that for a football junkie like me. I'm tuned in on that on Wednesday morning. When I get up in the morning. But as far as the Chiefs is concerned, I'm really, really not being an Ohio State homer, but Josh Simmons, your new left tackle that they just drafted, who got hurt against Oregon last year, the first game against Oregon in October, and was out for the rest of the season. He wasn't even with us for the rest of the national championship run, and he is nasty. He's nasty. So they're fortifying that offensive front, that offensive line, which is something that they need to ensure and elongate the career of Patrick Mahomes. in addition to that, they still have Rasheed Rice who comes back healthy, and he doesn't have to. He's not going to be suspended for those 4 games, right? So the first 4 games, so they can hit the ground running. Then they get Hollywood Brown back, right? So that's also going to help. Xavier Worthy. They got a lot of speed. That's going to be like playing a classic Mike Leach air raid offense, right? And then if they want a bruiser that you're going to hate to have to tackle at the fourth quarter after they air you out, then they hand the ball off to Isaiah Pacheco. Now their defense has also been like great, right? And go Trent McDuffie and you still got Spags calling the plays back there. So that defense is fortified as well. Travis Kelce's aging, and I think we all know that. But they found so many ways to kind of hide him in the offense and bring him out when it matters most. Patrick Mahomes is pretty good with his placement of the football when he's throwing it to him, so he's not going to expose him to any unnecessary hits and injuries as well. So Chiefs are going to be good. Obviously, to me, I do not think that it's going to be the Chiefs of very recent yesteryears where they're going to be just think about it. They only lost 2 regular season games.
2 games. No, they lost one regular season game and the Super Bowl.
Well, they lost the last regular season game of the season.
Oh yeah. Well, they didn't play anybody.
Nobody was playing. Nobody was playing. So just like put that in proper perspective for a second. Just like, matter of fact, if they wanted the Bengals to make the playoffs last year, they could have. Right. Yeah. So I don't think that the regular season is going to be as as much of ascension as it has been in the past. We're just going to be flying high. I do think there's going to be a few hiccups and bumps in the road, but nobody's more confident in Patrick Mahomes than me. There's one person just like LeBron James I just won't bet against in a big moment. And even in the Super Bowl when I did bet with them and eventually they lost, it's literally just like, yo, we got our ass kicked. What you want me to do? We got no offensive line. What you want me to do? So there it is.
It's so odd because I think they're going to have a little bit of a worse record, but I think they're going to be a better team. If that even makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense. It's like that year that the Warriors started, or whatever it was that they started
24-0, yeah.
Right, and then they get KD, they lose a few games, but it's like we're just a better team. Like we're a better team now. Like
I think there's something. Yeah, I think there's something to the idea of like, oh, we're just better than y'all, and it's just
And honestly, it's kind of dehumanizing almost. Just like come on. We can just play
especially
now,
other professional athletes. That's not the greatest.
Right. Right.
Okay, we're gonna keep the Bills on the table, but I want to go over to another AFC West team. We're gonna check out the Broncos. So Bills, Broncos on the smorgasbord. The Broncos coming from the second to none category. How are you feeling about the Broncos or the Bills?
Let's go to Buffalo.
All right, we're gonna go to Buffalo.
I'm in the mood for some chicken wings anyway, but
there it is.
Josh Allen is funny because it's like, what can you or who can you necessarily compare him to, right? Like as far as what we grew up watching, can't really compare him to anything. It's do you put him in the Philip Rivers category? Somebody who's really good, very respected, but hasn't won anything. Because he's physically more talented and gifted than Philip Rivers, right?
He's got more accolades at this point now too.
At this point too, and he's an MVP.
Yeah.
But I want you to tell me who else is on that offense besides James Cook and you got Keon Coleman, but to even
there is a very much a Cam Newton kind of arc to his career. Yeah. Now he did. I mean, if you want to look about it, Newton had Steve Smith, but he was kind of on the tail end of it when Steve Smith was there. Then he was kind of gone. Then it was just Ted Ginn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because Smith went to the Ravens. Yeah, exactly. Philly Brown, that. The argument.
And they had a very good Greg Olsen, but the point is, it's just they didn't have a whole lot.
Exactly.
And I kind of think the same thing about Buffalo, and it's unfortunate because you respect Josh at the quarterback position enough to think I really want to see you win, man. I want to see you win. And just to talk about the Chiefs for a hot second, it's like there's no real rivalry, in the AFC as far as the Chiefs and everybody. No, it's the rivalry is Buffalo and Baltimore.
Baltimore, the Bengals.
Yeah, it's like Buffalo. Yeah, it's exactly. And whoever gets the opportunity to play the Chiefs, and truth of the matter is, like, I like their defense. Again, that's not a place that you would want to play, but it's going to be cold, and they hit you. And I'm the biggest Ed Oliver fan in the world. They just got Joey Bosa, so that should help, right? They got very, 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 very fast linebacking core, and so what's to come of that? They drafted well as far as the corner out of Kentucky, but he got hurt earlier. In
Already,
camp. Yeah. So it's kind of unfortunate. Again, this is a team sport. It's going to put a lot on Josh. I'm a fan of him. I really am a fan of him. But there's who are you afraid of besides Josh on that team? Like, you know what I mean? Dawson Knox.
It really is incredible, and that to me, as much as if people want to argue, I've seen people say like they gave him participation MVP, which look, Lamar had a great season. I don't think that's true because a lot of it has to do with like who's around you. Like James Cook is probably his best offensive player, not besides himself, and James Cook is like a good running back. Like I don't know, James Cook the 12th best running back in the league, the 8th best running back in the league. It's like he's a good player, but like Lamar had a 2,000-yard rusher behind him. Patrick had a great defense behind him, and also his team, like he was not as good. It's like I have to credit him with winning with what's around you, especially like you said, right? Besides his offensive linemen, like they had Amari Cooper out there. So who was fighting to make who just got signed today. Exactly. So that tells you what he was dealing with. So I don't know, man. You get so many cracks at this door, man. I don't know if they don't get through this year. This might be might be entering the Phillip Rivers zone, because the difference between Peyton and Phillip, Peyton beat Brady.
Yeah.
Phillip never beat him. And mind you, got smacks every time.
Ever.
So,
and I don't even want to think of it as like those Bengal teams that were pretty good too, but like they just couldn't win, right? Like they just couldn't win when they had Carson Palmer and
Husmanzada and
Ocho Cinco,
Chris Henry,
exactly. God bless.
TJ Husmanzada, yeah.
Right. So what necessarily can compare to, and you think about Josh Allen, you think about not only just the team about him, we're talking about the MVP, you really get the true definition of what value actually means in professional sports. Because it's
exactly.
He's so valuable that if you took him off that team, if Mitch Trubisky is starting for that team, who
they're not
went to the playoffs before, they ain't doing that. They ain't doing that. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't a participation MVP. There could be a little bit of voters fatigue for sure, but next to what he had, to compliment him, it wasn't great.
All right, we had the Broncos still left on the food bucket, but then now we're gonna slide into the cold pizza section. The cold pizza section, and I'm gonna pick out a team that won a bunch of games last year, but is changing quarterbacks. I'm going Broncos or the Vikings.
Let's go with the Vikings.
All right, Vikings. There we go. What we like about the Vikings?
It's the second most fascinating place to play professional football. It's the most fascinating place because you can beat Justin Jefferson and wreak havoc on the rest of the league, create marvelous highlights, and then by the second week of January, they're watching the games with you because just like something goes awry. You know what I mean? For all its glory, you got to give all the love in the world to Sam Darnold for how he played last year during the regular season. It was good. What did they start? 5-0, 6-0, like and the compliment got Jordan Addison. Strong, very strong running game, right? So
they have great offensive players, and they have a great offensive coach.
It is amazing. And then
year after year, right? Mind you, he's done this year after year now. That to me is the real marking of a great offensive mind.
Absolutely. And on the flip side, you got Flores, right? And so that's awesome. But what is it there that's in the Gatorade, or it's in linked on the talk that can't get you past that first week in January? The first week of big boy football in January, and I think it's the most fascinating place because you got the ideal weather conditions, right? You play in a dome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's loud there, so you got the home field advantage with these fans that love the Vikings, love them. It's hard to play there. Back in 2018, I went to the Super Bowl when the Eagles were playing what's it, to
The
Patriots,
Patriots.
and I just remember how loud it was. So and that's neutral fans. Imagine what it feels
Yeah.
like for home fans, right? So it's the most fascinating place in the world to me because it's just like in the NFL because it's like, what more do you want? What more do you want? No one wants to come here to play. No one wants to come here to play us. Our defense is always, pretty good. Outside the year the Giants was waxing that ass. We have the best wide receiver, if not one of the best football players in the world playing for us. Why did we just go brain neutral the second week of January? Never understand.
Yeah, I would say a lot of that has the look at their quarterback play. It was a lot of Case Keenum / Kirk Cousins trying to get them through. And I mean, look, in one of those games was the miracle at the thing where the Saints had them, and then just like that was the game they should have lost, and then somehow did it. So
they were. And now that I think about it, my boy ripped them up that day too. Now that I think about it, they were down by like two scores.
Yeah.
They were down by 16 points, and they came back and tied and took the lead. So, one of the years where the Saints should have went to the Super Bowl, but they would have beat the Eagles. There's no doubt in my mind that they didn't beat the Eagles that year.
There's a graphic or there's a clip on Twitter that I have to find, but they went through I think every loss the Saints had since they won the Super Bowl. It's all last second,
it's bad.
Hail Mary crazy plays where you're how it's the Beast Quake. It's the one they lost in San Francisco on the last play with Vernon Golston. It's the miracle. It's that play that I just talked about.
Davis. It's
the Vernon Davis. It's the play in the Superdome with the Rams where it was pass interference. It's a lot. All these are literally all after they won the Super Bowl, and it's insane, man.
My brother from college was on the Saints when that happened. The two of those games, he was on the field when it actually happened. On the other side of the field when they missed a tackle and Stephon Diggs runs in, and then when they didn't throw the flag, he didn't pick up the phone for a month. He was just just dumbfounded. It's almost catastrophic. In front of you, it's very traumatic, and just huh? How not? But yeah, I say all that to say, Minnesota is a great place to play because you have very limited distractions. You know what I mean?
Ain't nothing to do over there.
And you have all world talent in Anthony Edwards. If you want to go watch some good basketball, because they're a very good team. The Twins are doing whatever they're doing. Cool, that just gets you to football season. But there's no way that they just it's something there that they just go brain neutral the second week of January.
Facts. All right, Broncos still on the table. If you want to go ahead and feast for them, or would you like to go to Sam Darnold's new team and talk about the Seattle Seahawks?
Who else is in that category? Who else is in that cold pizza category?
Cold pizza. Oh, this is good. You could ask me who's in this cold pizza category. So cold pizza, we have our teams that were kind of good last year, but might be mid this year. It was, but cold pizza is always good when you want to get it. We have the Rams, we have the Steelers, we have the Bengals, the Seahawks I just mentioned, and the team we just spoke about. So the Bengals. So you want to talk about? So you want to have? So you're switching it. You want to have the Bengals up?
Yes.
All right. So we have the Bengals now off the board. We're talking about the Bengals
because it's funny as we think about cold pizza. It's you never know how to warm it up, right? Because if you put it in the oven, it might get burnt, and if you put it in the microwave, it's inconsistently warm, and that might actually define
perfectly surmise the Bengals.
Perfectly. You know what I mean? They start slow. And again, if you eat the pizza cold, it's not that bad. Some pizzas are actually good cold, whatever. But at least that's consistent because it's cold all the way through. But nobody wants to enjoy their food that's meant to be served warm Cold. The Bengals come out the gate with that inconsistent microwave leftover pizza filling. It's like, that's hot, but that's cold. Like, Jamar Chase just had 10 catches for 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. T. Higgins had another 8 and 85 with a touchdown. Then you got Chase Brown, who is secretly a top 10 back, just had 14 carries for 78 yards and 6 catches for another, 35. He got you a couple fantasy points. And then whoever their makeshift tight end is, inserted into that equation. It could be anybody. It could be C.J. Uzata. It could be Mike Jaginski, or it could be Noah Fant this year. They got all this because they got Golden Joe back there who's cold than a motherfucker. But their defense gonna give up 45 points now. So it's like it's cold pizza because it's never on one front, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, then you put it in the oven. You got Trey Henderson, who leads the league in sacks. Just got paid today, a few hours ago, right? But it's like, I'm getting to the quarterback 17 and a half, 18 times a year. And you mean to tell me the rest of the defense can't get like 2 more turnovers to give us the offense back with, the offensive ball back?
2 more turnovers. How about 2 more punts?
They're like, thank you. You know what I mean? I'm not even asking you for them to steal the ball. Just stop them from getting the first down. Stop them from getting the ball down the field. Keep it out of field goal range. This is all I'm asking you to do. I didn't sack the quarterback twice already. You know what I mean? So it's that very, very, it's cold pizza. You know what I mean? Don't want to warm it up because it's always just like, I just want to eat this shit now. That's what you want, like instant satisfaction, instant gratification. And it's so much more difficult trying to get them to start because everything needs to be running properly. And then once things start running properly on offense, it's not on defense. You know what I mean? The starting safety gets hurt, and then they bench one of their safeties last year who should not have been benched. And then, one of their corners is good, but he gets hurt. And it's just inconsistent. The only thing that was consistent last year was Trey Henderson. And that's not enough on defense. Sorry.
Hopefully when they finally gave Shamar Stewart his contract, maybe he can actually help them a little bit this season. But we'll see.
But let's hope. But like, it's a representation of just how poorly ran that franchise is, that organization is. And it sucks. You know what I mean? Because, having spent time in Ohio, I lived in Ohio for 6 years. And, And I know how that community revolves around both the Browns and the Bengals. And more so, like, now, just seeing, Bengals fans be, like, proud to wear that shit. Like, I haven't seen people that proud. Like, obviously get, like, big fans of Chad Johnson, and they're really big fans of Gio Bernard. Andrew Whitworth, right? There's some icons. But they were humongous fans, and a cultural staple there is Corey Dillon, right? Like, that was, he was the man to them. I haven't seen that side of, like, of pride. They still wear those throwback jerseys. I haven't seen that side of pride there since. Like, oh look, it's Joe. Like, you're gonna see, Jamar Chase and them getting gas down the block at the 5-3 in the marathon. They're just inconsistent. Cold pizza.
Cold pizza. All right, Broncos still up there. They like, does nobody want me?
I'm boycotting Sean Payton, man.
It's all good. Listen, man, like I said, bro, this is your list. I'm just your vehicle.
I got a personal grievance and gripe against Sean Payton. I mean, I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that for the time being.
All good. I mean, they still there to eat. You know what I'm saying? Someone gonna want them at some point. But Broncos still on the table, or we can slide over to an eat your vegetable category. So we want to see, is it going to be Broncos, or we want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys? If I was a better podcaster, I would have definitely had Cowboys number one, right?
No, absolutely not. The Cowboys get no spin in this here ride. But who else is in the category with the vegetables? Because I love vegetables.
So we got the Colts, we got the 49ers, we got the Cardinals, and we got the Falcons in the eat your vegetables category.
As much as I want to talk about the Cardinals, because I think there's like an institutional problem there, I'm going to go with the 49ers.
All right. Niners off the board. Eating your vegetables. Also, the reason why I have to have this category, eat your vegetables, is they got to do something this year that they probably don't want to do. Every single team. 49ers, they just paid Brock Purdy. Now, all they good players ain't playing. So,
yeah. So
it's part of the package.
It's really unfortunate because they have had to deal with ample amount of injuries, and it's only hurting their wide receivers. They traded
Yeah. All the
Debo,
wide
right?
receivers are hurt.
All the wide receivers are hurt. Traded Debo. Brandon Ayuk still hurt. Jennings is hurt. They're just signing people off the street.
Is Pearsall hurt? Or is
Pearsall's
he
the
the
only
only
one
one
not
healthy?
hurt, and no funny, but like he's just literally just now fully recovered from having being like shot last year. Like,
Shot.
yeah. So
That's the second NFL player I think in back-to-back seasons that's been shot.
so now him and Brian Robertson are teammates. God bless.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have some difficult decisions to make because just like I think I'm not positive, but I think Nick Bosa will be up after this year due for an extension too.
Oh, already?
I
Damn,
believe
time
so
be
because
flying.
he just gotten somebody and don't quote me. However, they got some decisions to make, right? To paying Brock and they got Christian McCaffrey back there who was like, if we're not winning and we have this player of value, we might have to entertain a trade to get as much as we can get back for him. And kind of help their argument with that is like when he was out, you see what some of the running backs did that plugged and played in his place. Like they did very well. Um, you know, at one point from like it was like 2012 to 2016, that's one team you just didn't want to play. You didn't want to play them because they were hard nosed. They were going to smack you. They're going to make you kind of physically tap out. Now they've kind of been a little bit more sophisticated offensively. And they have a quarterback who is an elite game manager, right? He's very very proficient game manager. And he's not going to put the ball in harm's way, but he also has to have somebody to throw to. Sorry. So they got to figure out something to do. Usually, in certain sense, I'd be a little bit more apoplectic about it, but let's see what they do this year. I just feel that there's going to be, if they don't win early, there's going to be a moment where everybody's going to look at the 49ers the same way they looked at the Rams at part of last year. Like, are they going to trade are they going to trade Cooper Cup in the middle of the season, right? This should be like a fire sale to get everybody out of there now and get back what we can before they got hot and went to the playoffs. So, the 49ers are a team that's going to be, the NFC West is wide open. Wide open. Matthew Stafford's back is hurt. You know what I mean? And I got one less receiver out there. The Seahawks were good at one point, and then Geno starts to kind of regress some, and now they have a new quarterback there. Although they did pick up Cooper Cup, who's their starting running back. Then Arizona, I'm just not fearful of Arizona at all. Like, and quite honestly, don't really respect them either. But they really got to figure out what to do at the quarterback position. And, then you got the 49ers stuff. So it's really wide open. But they're going to have to do something soon.
That's the one division I can see any of those teams winning the division and any of those teams finishing in last. It just depends how the cookie cuts, and injuries really.
And something I can say, we talked about the Beastquake earlier. If this is one of those years where there's like a 6-10 team that makes the playoffs, it could be from that division.
Yeah, 6-11, but either way,
right.
All right, Broncos still up there for you to eat, or we can talk about one of the elite teams. We're going to go back to the best of the best to start. We can talk about the Broncos or the Detroit Lions, the number one seed in the NFC last season, the Lions.
Yeah, I'd rather talk about the boys from Detroit. I got mad respect for them.
All right, Lions. Sorry, Broncos. Y'all just taking these L's. Lions off the board. All right, talk to me about the Lions.
I really, really, really am fearful of them for a litany of reasons. Okay, they're really well coached. However, they just lost their offense and defensive coordinator. Aiden's back. Aiden Hutchinson's back, and that motherfucker has a motor. He's like a Nick Bosa, J.J. Watt type of motor that he has. You know what I mean? And I respect them defensively. They're really good, and they're fast, and they're very physical. One of my favorite players. You know how I used to feel about Buda Baker. You know how I used to feel. Brian Branch. Oh my God, watching Brian Branch makes you just love football. Like he gets in you, and he can drop one coverage. He can guard 3 different positions. He's very good with his hands. He has violent hands, great feet, and I really like that team. That's just on the defensive side of the ball. You know, the offensive side of the ball. You know, they're just one player away. You know, it could. And my favorite receiver in the NFL, not the best, my favorite has been Amon-Ra St. Brown for a little while. You know, I don't
Not
necessarily like
Jameson
his
Williams doing the fucking pretty Ricky in the end zone.
Nah, man. Nah, man. It's Amon-Ra
The only
because
active player in the league who I swear plays every day with the concussion. Just goes in with the concussion.
My boy also.
I don't know what he gonna do.
My boy eats McDoubles and he puts ice cream on them. So it's like, what are you doing?
Him and George Pickens got to make a pop. Well, you know what? Let me take that back.
Yeah,
but him and George Pickens are just fighting for that TO role, man.
So, you know what I mean? I like Amon-Ra to me is like a better rendition of Steve Smith, who at one point won a Triple Crown with a very bad team. You know, with like the 30th ranked offense. But
last guy to do it until Jamar did.
Yeah. And I think that
that's like not true. Cooper Kupp did, but go ahead.
Cooper Kupp did. You're right. But Amon-Ra is fascinating, right? Because he's physical. He blocks his ass off. Great routes. You know what I mean? He's a 2-time All-Pro. You know what I mean? His phenomenal routes. I don't necessarily care for, you know, some of the stuff he does when he interviews, but, like, you know, on the field, that motherfucker is a maven. He's hard. You know what I mean? He blocks hard. You know what I mean? And I love him. So I love the way he plays the little engine that could. But he feels like he's, you know, I'm 5'9". He feels like he's like at or around the same size as me. And he just run through a wall. So the little engine that could. So I'm a big fan of that. And then, you know, Jahmyr Gibbs runs like a young Alvin Kamara. It never looks like he's running fast until he's running. Like, it kind of looks like he's coasting. David Montgomery would knock the motherfucking Sonic coins out of you. So, you know, I like that offense. That offense is fearful. You know, they're high-powered, they're fast, they're quick, and they're elusive. So, you know, that Detroit team might take a step back as far as like a win or two this year, but still going to the playoffs, and they're still a team that you don't want to see in late in the season.
I've been interested to see how their September goes.
Right.
I think
that's the reason why I say that, you know, they might sacrifice.
Yeah. Because, like I still think they can win the division. I'm not like completely sold in on either team in terms of the Packers or the Vikings, but I think they're going to get up to a bit of a slow start. But like you said, they're just too talented. Like they just have too. There's a point where it's like we have too many good players. Like, to me, at their floor is 11 wins, 10 wins. You know. Okay, done with the Lions. Broncos still on the board that we are just not going to go out to eat, or we can hit up and try to talk about some of the dregs, a little bit of the eat. We can talk about the snap benefits that are here, the snap teams. Do you want to try and mess around with our team? The Giants, who are in the snap benefits program.
I've been waiting. I've been waiting.
The Browns are there too. The Titans. You got the Patriots and you got the Raiders.
Listen.
So who from the welfare program that might be cut at some point that you want to get?
I'll just do a quick little flyby to some of those teams. So you know who I want to talk about. You know what I want to talk about. You know what I told you 3 months ago when we right around draft time. I told you I was coming back to talk about them. And I'm feeling remarkably much better than I thought I would be feeling at this point. There's a quick little, you know, due respect to all the program affiliates within this Snap program, right? Hats off to them. You know, as far as the Browns are concerned, cool. Titans, really, I actually think it's a sneaky good team. Cool. Love Cam, love his attitude, love his moxie, love the way he plays, love the way he talks. That offensive line is crucial. Don't really want to talk about the Patriots. They have the 3rd best corner in the league to me. And healthy Christian Gonzalez, he's very good. And, you know, you got the Raiders. Much prop and respect to you. But I want to talk about the kid from East Rutherford, man.
All right, we're talking about the Giants. Getting off the benefits program. The Giants.
Yes, they're off the benefits program. I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised with how training camp in the offseason went. You know, we got big news coming out of camp last week that Andrew Thomas came back, right? Cam Scadaboo went from not practicing to right into the fold of, into the fold of the physical part of training camp. Abdul Carter looks fucking amazing. And then, you know, boy wonder, Goldilocks, Sunshine. He's got an attitude. He has got a skill, and it seems like he's following the plan very, very well. I want to be very, very cautious in how I celebrate it because, if we go back to 2019, I witnessed a 6'5" quarterback from Duke walk into the second or third training camp game or preseason game, go 6 for 6 and throw a touchdown in the quarter end zone to Cody Lattimore. I saw it. We all saw it, and then we're like, "Oh shit!" And then he starts 2 games, and you're like, "Oh shit, this might work," and then it goes to shit, right? So I want to temper my expectation. If you think back to 2007, Jay-Z comes out with American Gangster, the album, and there's a song on there called Success. And in the beginning of the song, it's a soundboard from the American Gangster movie where Frank Lucas is talking to one of the Italians that he's paying for protection. And the gangster says to him, "It was your success that took a shot at you. You got an assassination attempt on your life, but it was really your success that took a shot at you." And I'm thinking about this. And the reason why I bring this up is because Jackson Dart was so good in preseason. No turnovers, scoring touchdowns with his feet in, with his arm, all that is the reason why he should be quarterback number 2 going into the season. Because if it's so good right now, and it's, the game's going to speed up and everything, if it's so good right now, we need to protect that. Because if we're going to be bad, I don't want to put a good product on a bad team to potentially get him hurt and regress his talent. Floor is yours.
Well, that was good. That was great hype for, again, the SNAP benefits program. I agree with a lot of what you said. Obviously, this is the team I root for as well. Like you, I'm very encouraged by especially the defense. I think the defense is going to be pretty good. To me, the difference between them winning 4 games and then winning 7, 8 games, the defense can't just be good. They have to be like top 10, top 8 good. Can they be? I think they have playmakers at all 3 levels. The defensive line should be as good as advertised. And I think the combination of Russ, I don't know if Jameis will play. I think Jameis would. I mean, I guess he made the team, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jameis gets traded. And Dart for 17 games, I think that can give you good enough quarterback play to win you 7 games. Mm-hmm. And to me, it would be like, you remember the season the Lions won, like went 8-9 or not? Mm-hmm. I don't remember if they had 17 games at that point, but they won like 8 games, but they missed the playoffs and they beat the Packers.
They beat the Packers
and they kept them out. That to me is the season I want,
right?
Where you're kind of in the hunt, but you need so many things to break right for you to get in. That to me is a successful season, and then you can go into the next season, whether Dart plays at all or not. You can go into next season feeling confident, like, okay, the team is good. We just need these little things to kind of work in our favor.
I also think that something that's really important is like we have some other holes that need to be filled as far as offensively on our offensive line, and Evan Neal getting bumped into guard. I don't think he did poorly at all this training camp. There's some holes there, obviously, but
hopefully it'll be Mekhi Becton, bro.
Right, like there's nothing wrong with that. We can find a way to fix your career and alter your career. Like that walked Mekhi Becton not only into a Super Bowl, but
into a big contract.
Like,
yeah.
So you got holes there, with John Schmitz and Evan Neal. We get that situated, then we might be, cooking with grease a little bit. The news and what we have read out of camp, Cam Scatterbo, who I wasn't high on. I was not high on. And it has nothing to do with his complexion. But I just wasn't high on.
Oh, wow. You aren't into the white running back era, bro?
Nah, that ain't got nothing to do with it. But
come on now, man. Come on now. This jersey. Come on, man. Them 44 selling out.
Man. Scatty Bull. But like
Scatty Bull.
But he's running like a young bull, man. He's running like like somebody who
Peyton Hillis.
I wouldn't go that far, but Peyton Hillis literally was meant to run you over.
Literally straight line.
Like Scatterbo has hands. He's like running like
he catch the ball. Yeah,
he's catch the ball. I'm saying all this, but this is just things that we saw, in the joint practices or the training camps. Definitely dating back to OTAs, right? Like we're excited by that. So that's exciting. Um, there was a play a few weeks back where Russ throws the ball 70 yards in the air to Poe Counts, and it's just like this is what a formidable quarterback looks like, right? Like I'm not worried about Russ taking us over at the top, but if he gets us enough to kind of wade the waters, then we'll be all right. Like you know what I mean? We're not a team that anybody wants to play, and I'll go as far as saying this: we open up at home on a Sunday night against the Chiefs.
That's our first home game. First two road games are Dallas, Washington.
Yeah, Dallas and Washington. We open up at home Sunday night against the Chiefs. It's not a team that wants to come here to play us. And I kid. If we split one of two in the first 2 weeks,
I would say honestly, both those games are on the road, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they gotta. I really think they gotta for a team that needs some good momentum. I think they have to win that Washington game.
They're exactly.
That Dallas game could be tricky, but that Washington game they have to win. There's no home field advantage; it's split.
They signed Terry today, and that's cool. It's also like another team I'm just not necessarily like fearful of because if you really think back to the Washington game,
they had a bunch of coin flip games.
If Mick Neighbors doesn't drop a pass and
we have a kicker
fumble, exactly, literally exactly. If we have a kicker, we win that game. Motor also fumbles the second half, the first play of the second half. Like that doesn't happen, we win that game. Mick Neighbors doesn't drop him, we win that game. So that's one, and then two. The second game at home against Washington. There was a strip fumble that was an incomplete pass that got them the ball back on the 3. Like if these two things don't happen, we beat Washington twice. So Washington's good. We didn't force a turnover at all against them last year, but we played very very well. And there's no sympathy wins. There's also no consolation prizes in professional sports. But like our defense has only gotten better. So we got to split. However, Kansas City's not going to want to come play there on that Sunday night. I'll tell you that. I will tell you that.
All right.
So I feel good about us.
That's good, man. I do. Listen. I'm there. I got a little bit of the cocaine on my nose too. It's all good. So now we're up. Broncos still there, or back to the best of the best category. There's only one team left in this grouping of food categories. It's either the Broncos or the Lamar Jackson-led Baltimore Ravens.
What's up, Baltimore? I got a lot of time.
Right, I got a lot of Ravens.
A lot of love for the flock. Other than Lamar being the neighborhood hero, and I think at this point it's kind of transcended, regional bias or just natural bias. Like everybody.
Oh, he's a Hall of Famer. Without a question.
Without a question. And if you have to question it, then I either think you're either stupid or, you might, yeah. So
you might not like black people,
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because, that offense is so good. it's like maddening how good that offense is, right? And I actually want to talk about Bateman and Flowers just for a second. Like, it might sound silly, but like, they have to be, as far as a duo is concerned, like they might have to be like teetering on that 6 line and like think about like the top 5. Like, duo.
Honestly, I think these are the best receivers he's had.
Okay, so
in his career.
Then they got D-Hop, right? Just as like a little bit of a vet presence, like almost like your 7th or 8th man off the bench as a vet. Like, damn, you used to really get busy back in the day. Like D-Hop, like it's not, you know what I mean? You still respect his hands. Like,
he's a chain mover. He's gonna catch the ball.
He's going to catch the football. So, like, you feel good about that. And then in the defense, right? They get the boy out of Georgia, Starks, and their defense only gotten better. To complement Kyle Hamilton. What more do you want, right? So, it's on Lamar right now more than it's ever been. It's like he's got the most pressure now. Just like, we got you exactly what you needed. We got you healthy. We're ready. And even as a security blanket, still has Mark Andrews there, but likely is also like really good as a tight end. So all together, This is exactly what you want. If it's not a team that you want to play at any point in the season, the only team that really can beat the Baltimore Ravens, if not the Chiefs or the Bills, is the Baltimore Ravens. So I'm excited to see where this is going. I know Lamar's dealing with like a little bit of a nagging foot like ailment. I'm not even call it an injury. But given the next 10 days, to have enough time to heal up before the first game of the year, first games of the year. That's a team that's going to be very exciting. In the NBA, you have like League Pass, right? And you got your League Pass teams and stuff like that. Like, if this were like comparable to that, Baltimore would be our League Pass team of the year because it's just like you're definitely that's appointment viewing television to see that team. Like they're fast, they're physical, they got a city around them. They got a stadium that's like really nice, but it's dark almost. It's kind of like it's odd. It literally feels like a flock, like a like a coop, but like it's just dark like around it, but it's like you're embraced and kind of swallowed up in it too. It's like a big black hole. So it's a team that I think is going to be really good this year.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't do comparisons because we have to compare people with the same skin color. This guy's the Peyton Manning. He's got all the warts. There's nothing more. Like we said, he's already. Oh, you know why? We can't compare the
I get
the light skinned folks, but he's got the MVPs. He's got the first team All NBAs, first team All Pros rather. Excuse me. He's got, like you said, he's got to get it done. Because unfortunately, while we know that he's going to the Hall of Fame, there will always be this monkey on his back.
That if he
just doesn't, not even win it, not even get there. Fun fact. This is a little bit of a skewed thing. The Ravens of these three teams of the Chiefs, Ravens, actually 4 teams of the Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, and Bengals. The Ravens have lost to all 3 of them in the playoffs. They've lost to the Chiefs, they've lost to the Bills twice, and they lost to the Bengals. Now, one of those, Lamar didn't play. Actually, Lamar didn't play in 1.5 of those because the Bengals game they lost, Lamar was hurt, Huntley play. And then in the first Bills game, that's when he threw the pick 6 and had the concussion. And then they lost that game.
To Ron Johnson. Yeah. Terrence Johnson.
So they're the only team to lose to all 3 of their other opponents in the postseason like that.
Wow.
None of those guys have lost to the Ravens. I know it's a crazy thing to think about. But
that's a crazy thought. No, but I just want to step back from this for a second and just like kind of talk about this in totality as far as like football is concerned. And I'm a kind of a geek when we talk about football. It's just like I spent the past weekend watching 1AA ball. Like I watched Idaho State playing against UNLV on like the Mountain West Network that's on, the TVs that are TV channels that are built into your TV. And it's like usually just like free ad supported television. So it's just like stuff without commercials. So I was lucky to find that. Like, so I'm a little bit of a junkie as it relates to that. But like football is as good as now that is like probably has ever been in a very long time. And it's like we're finding and see how much it has evolved and how fast it's gotten, but we're finding like left tackles that like also could go, if not like be a power forward in the NBA, they definitely could be like 50 catches a year tight ends. Like this is like it's like fascinating stuff. And then like no one's talking about the Texans, right? But they have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. We're having conversations about is a Super Bowl winning MVP quarterback Jalen Hurts even in the top 10, right? But that's how good his team is. At football at its core, it's just it's back, but it's so beautiful. Even like the running back conversations we're talking about, with the running back, he got 3 years and shelf life, and there's only like 2 or 3. Man, Jahmyr Gibbs. If you want to watch like the purity of something, Bijan Robinson, like look at the way he fucking moves with the ball in his hand.
I need him to score more fantasy points, but I feel you.
Yeah, exactly. But like what we watched in Todd Gurley, we're actually about to get out of Bijan Robinson. So it's like it's beautiful. We're in a black kind of Renaissance era as far as quarterbacks are concerned. So we're there. We're back.
We are back. I think this is going to be the most black quarterbacks to ever start opening day. I think it's 16. I can't go through them all. And Tua.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Wow.
White people
half the league.
All right. with a team that does have a white quarterback. The Broncos still on the board if you want to talk about them, but we're gonna go back to a section that we haven't talked about yet. It's gonna be the Are we taking the drive-through food, meaning slightly above snap, but a little bit under each of vegetables. Yep. This category of teams, we have the Panthers, black quarterback, Bears, black quarterback, Saints, Jets, Jags.
Yeah, so I it's funny. Prior to our meeting, I had an appointment, and while I was on the way to that appointment, I looked over to my right and I saw a KFC, and so I went got me a little 6-piece real quick just to, satisfy a little itch. And I thought, it was like, damn, over reliable, that's good. So I'm going to take the drive-through here, and I'm going to talk about the Panthers because it's
Panthers up on there. Bryce Young, come on down, beating out Bo Nix again.
Yeah, again. But he's been in Alabama against him, so he knows what that feels like. That said, there was a point last year where everybody was asking the Giants to trade for Bryce Young, right? And then he goes to Germany and beats us. And then he has a couple other games where it's just like, playing really well. Against the Chiefs, played very well. Towards the end of the year, I think it's against Atlanta. There's a play where he's falling back, like walking backwards, and throws it and turns around, looks at the camera, and throws up the touchdown sign before the receiver even catches it, right? So that's something, right? And then they start playing really, really well as a team. Chuba Hubbard running the ball, very well too. Again, we talk about these running backs, Hubbard's really good. They drafted Tedero McMillan out of Arizona, who's actually going to be their true number one. And they're kind of a little bit more deep at wide receiver now that they're trying to trade Adam Thielen away.
Back to the Vikings.
Back to the Vikings, right? So now you got him. You got Tedero McMillan paired with Xavier Legette, so where they've spent 2 draft picks and 2 first-round draft picks on 2 wide receivers.
Wide receivers.
And Legette has been very notable and publicized because of his accent. However, he spent this offseason on top of doing other things like going to the Kentucky Derby and eating squirrels and raccoons. He's gotten
and being in music videos,
right?
With Gorilla,
yeah, exactly. Being America's sex symbol, but he has gotten better at wide receiver. You know what I mean? We've seen it. He got kicked out of the game in the preseason because just how much energy he's emoting to football, and he cares about it. So I think that they're a sneaky team that you're just not going to want to play. Simply put, and Bryce is going to be more comfortable with Canales' offense after a year, and I just think that team's a team that should be respected. More, they have a pretty good offensive line too. So,
all right, Bengals. Panthers getting a little bit of love for you guys. Hopefully, y'all can win 5 games. After the Are we taking the drive-through food, back up to second or none, still with the Broncos, or we can go to. I'm going to go back to the eat your vegetables category. Do you want to talk about the Atlanta ATL? Michael Penix wearing do-rags but never having waves Falcons.
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of the Falcons.
Right? All right, Falcons.
They gave us one of the best football games to watch last year, and that was against Washington on that Sunday night.
Oh, yeah. That was a good game.
It was a beautiful game. It was a beautiful game. And, you got a glimpse of just how good this offense could be. And then you got, the wonder kid who you don't know, what he's going to give you. That's Kyle Pitts, right? You don't know if this guy is going to, be worthy of this number 4 overall pick. When is it going to come to fruition? But I'm a Falcons fan. I believe in Raheem Moore. I believe in Michael Penix. Drake London's really good. Drake London, I don't want to use his word good loosely, but he's pretty good, man. And they kind of have an offense that's like a tier 2 Power 5 team that you don't want to play. You know what I mean? Because they have a really good offense. It's kind of difficult to stop and sustain because not only is Mike surgical with it, he's only one of the 2 left-handed starting quarterbacks, but Bijan Robinson makes love to the ground when he runs the football. It's soft jazz with the creative like ingenuity of like Duke Ellington. Like this guy is like a poet when he runs a football. It doesn't have to be violent. It's actually so elusive that it's like, how the fuck did you just do that? Like, so Atlanta's good. I think they draft a kid out of Tennessee this year, defensive end. So and I'm always going to be a Jesse Bates fan. So like they're good, and they got another young top 10 corner in AJ Terrell. So I like that Atlanta team.
Yeah, hopefully they can actually get a pass rush. Did you see that stat that they haven't had a double digit sack player since John Abraham? John Abraham was playing when we were kids.
No, Vic Beasley.
Oh, is it Vic Beasley?
Yeah, it's Vic Beasley.
Wow, I thought Vic Beasley was going to be nice,
but I mean,
he wasn't.
He won a Defensive Player of the Year. He's out in the league 2 years later. Like, think about that. He still should be playing in the NFL.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. So.
All right. Shout out to Vic Beasley, and Vic Mensa. On that note, so no more of the best. We still have some people in cold pizza. We still have some people in second to none. Do you want to hit up the Packers? We have the Bucks. We have the Commanders, and we have the aforementioned team that you hate in the Broncos.
Yeah, Broncos are getting no love from me. So again, I'll go with the Bucks.
Bucks. There we go. Shout out to Baker. Baker, look, before you start, the only little tidbit I want to give is, and I didn't even realize this because I guess I forgot that contract he signed. You know, Baker could get, if he has another good year, he can get like $200 million.
Yeah.
I would have never. Again, this is why the Browns are in the SNAP benefits group. Again, just
you
shocking.
walk in there like, this guy wins you a playoff game, and you're like, all right, I think we can do it without. Like, huh? how does that work? And like Baker, it's funny because when he's in Cleveland, he's in 1,000 commercials, right? And whatever. And then he goes to Carolina for a year, and then he's
5 minutes.
Right. Then I think he's in LA for.
He's on the Rams.
Yeah, on Thursday night, got in there on like a Tuesday and won them a game against the Raiders. Right, like oh shit, like he signs like it's like one of those bottom tickers.
Didn't he play in the playoff game against the Packers that year? Or was that not him?
That was not
for
him.
The Rams.
No, that was not him. It was not him.
Oh, was that because someone played in that playoff game for them. I don't remember who it was though.
Was it John Wolford?
I would feel like it was either it had to be John because I don't think it was Stafford.
Right. I'm not positive, but him signing with the Buccaneers at that time in the past, you're like looking at the bottom of the screen, like, like it almost doesn't like think it even fits like the aesthetic of that. Like, you signing with the Buccaneers, okay, whatever. And then it's like, you guys aren't bad. You guys are pretty good, actually. Like, the most probably, I don't want to say disrespect, but I do want to say underappreciated wide receiver, and if not currently in NFL history, it's Mike Evans, right? The guy comes out the
another Hall of Famer,
11 straight 1,000-yard seasons, and I don't want to disqualify that. Like, that's hard to fucking do, right? Like, and especially with the amount of different quarterbacks you've had. You've had Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jameis Winston, you've had
Tom Brady,
Mike Glennon, Tom Brady. Mike Glennon is in there. So, like, you've had, like, this mishmash of
listen, Jameis was doing 30 for 30s for them.
Exactly. I have a theory behind that I think that, like, he thinks
he really couldn't see.
No, well, that too. But but I think he thinks, like, it's almost better to throw a pick six now and get back on the field because, like, we're just going to, like, throw the suicide bomb here and, like, get this out of the way, get back on the field and then try to score and just, like, it's a zero-sum game. Nonetheless,
I still can't believe his last pass ever for the Bucks was a pick six.
Pick six. Yeah, and then you got
to end the game.
To end the game, and then you got Chris Godwin, who also a very like formidable receiver as well. And they drafted
your boy is starting for them now. Emeka Ebuka.
Yes, exactly. Then they drafted well, like so. Bucky Irving. Like young talent in the running back. I keep hitting on these running backs. Like, these guys are good. So
and they have a very good offensive line.
I think there's nobody that has my respect more in the NFL than the Buccaneers.
Like, I definitely think, and this is maybe a little out there, I do think that they have a chance to make the conference championship game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I definitely think it's Eagles up here, and then Lions, Bucks. I can't put the Commanders there yet. I got to see a lot more.
I know I'm not bugging, but like, if I'm trying to recant, rethink this. One year they beat the Eagles, right? The Buccaneers beat the Eagles in the playoffs, right? And then another year, do they beat somebody and then lose to?
The Bucks beat the Eagles, and then they lost to the lost to the Lions,
right?
Because that was the year the Lions went to the NFC Championship game,
Right.
and the Lions then lost to the Niners.
Niners.
That was the
right.
year that Purdy got to the Super Bowl.
Right. So just like just be aware of that. Like this isn't a bad team, and they know how to win. They just maybe sometimes get outcoached.
Yeah. All right, they're off the list now. So we're still in second to none. Do you want to go with Packers, Commanders, Broncos, or are you side-eyeing some cold pizza with Rams, Steelers, Seahawks?
I'm gonna have to say this. Gotta talk about the Rams really quickly. I'm gonna make this very, very fast.
No, that's cool, man. You want that cold pizza?
Yeah, no. I mean, again, we've had this, one accord. They got to be there. They got to just be on one accord. That's what pizza does. Like, all of it has to be the perfect marriage. They're going to take a step back, and it's because of their offense. It's like,
okay,
if he gets, I'm not speaking this into fruition. This is very serious. Like, this guy's back was fucked up for all of the offseason. You got to think, the Giants might have actually dodged a bullet, but
by not getting him, yeah.
Tapes. Go back to the tapes. I was all for it.
Oh no, I got the tapes. They outlied.
I was all for it. But they made a dodge the bullet respectfully, and it's like nothing to play with, man. Like that could be detrimental, obviously, to their team, but also his personal health. So there's that. But who else are you throwing the ball to
besides Puka?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what I mean? But on the flip side, the other side of the ball, their defensive line is so real. It's like they're lucky that they get to play 8 games a year inside of a dome. So it's like, so it'll be dry. Then I got to worry about any weather conditions. Like that defensive line is so real. Jared Verse, Fisker, that defensive line is amazing. And that's not a team that you want to play. They are. I've said that about like 5 teams now, but like we had the conversation about the NFC West. It's wide open. Anybody could win. Man, like that defensive line is so real, dog. Like
them,
I got a lot
the
of
Giants
respect for them,
and the Eagles should be the best 3 defensive lines in the league.
Best 3. But again, cold pizza because it's like it's not one marriage. It's like inconsistent.
All right. So we can stay in second to none. You have Bucks. I'm sorry, not the Bucks. I'm going to say Packers, Commanders, Broncos, or we're sliding down to eat your vegetables with the Cardinals, the Cowboys, all C teams, or the Colts.
Oh, we need to talk about the Packers really quickly. Okay.
On the Packers.
Think that Jordan Love is like, how do I put this? Who was the best basketball player that played in the bubble back in 2020 that no one's talking about?
TJ Warren.
Exactly. I can't.
The fact that you said that, I immediately knew.
Like you knew exactly what I was like.
Yeah.
When he's hot, you're like, oh shit, this is beautiful. And he's sitting back, does that like kind of like that like jump pass, and it's like it goes 70 yards and right on the dot, and then he throws an interception right to Drake Greenlaw. Like, what are you doing, dog? Like, and you don't know if he's hurt. And I want to say this, that I think that the NFL has done a masterful job of not developing its quarterbacks, as a league. And this is like what the NFL gets wrong compared to the NBA. We've talked about this before. Like there's a fundamental and industry-wide lack of development as it relates to quarterbacks, which is why I don't want Jackson Dart just running up in there. Give him some time to cook, right?
Facts.
The Packers have had the same 3 quarterbacks for the better part of 30 years. Isn't that strange?
30, damn near 100. Well, yeah, I guess so. It's just Favre, 30 years, man. Our entire lives.
Right, like Favre, Rodgers, Jordan Love.
Love.
And it fit a plan. And like, what other team has it worked out for like that? The
There's
Chiefs,
no
but
way.
like
Just off odds, there's no way this guy can be a Hall of Famer. They're gonna go 3 straight.
3 straight, like.
That's
But, like,
if that's like that is some we will never see that ever again. I mean, someone even made the comparison like this is the best 3 like series like back-to-back quarterbacks. The only other comparison you can make is the Niners,
right?
Because it was Montana,
Exactly.
Young, and it was Steve Garcia, who was good.
I forgot that they beat us in the playoffs. They came back and beat us in the playoffs.
Yeah, that was
Giants.
T.O. was on
Yeah.
that team, right? Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, a week later, yeah, they beat.
This is what 98, I think.
No, I'm talking about this is Jim Fossil in like 2003.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's like you have to make up your mind whether or not you guys are going to be good. Like you pay for Sean Carey, like you got, they drafted Luke Van Ness like 2 years ago, and I don't think he's ever like really been a starter at defensive end. And the fans are calling for him, but they don't have a corner. But then they got Xavier McKinney, who just catches everything that spins 10 yards in the air. Like the defense is like, it's cold there. Their defense travels. Josh Jacobs is a violent runner again, back with those fucking running backs. Romeo Dobbs, and then Christian Watson and Matt Golden this year. Like it's a very
they have a lot of good
offense.
players. It's going to be
players.
on. Yeah, it's going to be on if Love. They have a lot of like number 2 wide receivers, and I just don't know if they have a number 1 wide receiver. Like Matthew Golden might be their number 1 wide receiver, but like he's their rookie, and it's like they got a lot of good receivers. Roma Duze's good. Christian Watson's good. Like you just went over a bunch of them. Their tight end, I forgot his name right now, but he's really good as well. Like, Adam Kraft.
Not Roma Duze.
Not Roma Duze. Romeo Dobbs. That's
Romeo
what I meant.
Dobbs. Right.
Yeah, Duze's same division, wrong team. So yeah, but we're still in second to none. 2 teams left: Commanders, Broncos, or you can bounce around the board. We still have cold pizza with Steelers, Seahawks. We can now eat your vegetables. We have Cardinals, Cowboys, or Colts.
I hadn't even realized that we didn't talk about the Steelers, and that's kind of refreshing because there's so much other shit to talk about. And,
well, I don't think. Well, they're not. They're cold pizza mid.
Right. Yeah. But again, some people like cold pizza. Remember, this was a show.
I love cold pizza, man.
Like this is a show for like 5 years. Like cold pizza is what has like formed into First Take now, right?
Yeah.
What is their comparison? Right. You remember back in the Grantland days when Bill Simmons and Jalen Rose would sit and they would rank all 30 teams in the NBA, and like they would always talk about the amenities and things that like going on. And there's like a great place to go champagne and campaign. Like what the fuck is there to do in Pittsburgh?
Go to a cantina. I don't even know the name of that damn hotel.
Because it's like
it is respectfully, but like they are stuck. Like I don't. Again, as I'm not a fan, but if I was a fan of the Steelers, I would be frustrated as hell. But I would also not want my team to lose, because just because you get the number 1, number 2, number 3 pick doesn't mean you get a good quarterback.
Right.
Now, the Steelers as an organization, if I believe that they believe that they would be like not very good, then is what it is. But
for just a second, like I completely forgot that they traded Minka Fitzpatrick. I completely forgot
and got
that.
back to Jalen Carter. Jalen Ramsey.
I completely forgot that. And then, how do you really feel about DK Metcalf? DK Metcalf is the Minnesota Kevin Love on like
that's a great comparison, bro.
It's like, fuck, you're good. What are you doing here? Like, all right, like by name of like representing a team that represents Middle America, like in like every bit of Middle America, like not just like location, but also like Middle America as far as like financially and like culturally and ethically, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers fit that. So like you're going to be a Pro Bowler because of that. If you play well, and people aren't going to see you unless we're a 425 game with CBS and Jim Nance and Tony Romo are here. Like, but then you got to show that it's Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback for his third team, in the last 4 years. So it's like he's shelved himself. No one wants to see that shit. To get rid of Najee Harris. The guy obviously got fire moves, but like, there's got to be something that makes this the perfect marriage. Like, Cameron Hayward's getting very old, and Joe Porter Jr. I like these young corners and this class of young corners, but he's handsy. He's very, very handsy. You know what I mean? So I just want to know how this is going to work out. But Tomlin is the coach that can Tomlin can coach us out of a world war. I mean that, like with killing nobody. It's like, all right, this is a strategy. Like, this is how we're going to get out of it. It's like he coaches well out of a wet sock. Like, he's just that good. But like, you're going to need something that's going to take you over the top.
Big facts. Okay, we got to hit the Steelers. I know you said you have to run real quick, so we can just stop here. I feel like we hit like 15 teams.
Yo, bro, like we're flying. We're flying. And we were flying. I made some mental notes about certain things to talk about, and I was just like, damn, we're actually doing really well. Like
10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Did we actually hit 15? We actually hit 15. No, we went to 16. Went to 16 teams. All right, that's perfect, man.
It's half the league.
That's half the league right there. So with that said, I will come back and hit up the last half of this for the rest of you guys. But thank you so much for doing this, Reek. Drop your socials, what you working on, what you doing.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Don't give away what you're applying for yet, but we're gonna put that into existence. And when you get it, you can come back, and then we can talk about that when it happens.
Again, we're gonna pray about that. That's coming soon. I'm putting all my good stock and good fortune to use here, hoping that this next opportunity makes its way for me. Been working really hard really, really diligently the last few months trying to step into a different career. So it's on the way, but. As far as socials are concerned, at Reek the Ruler on X, at Reek the Ruler on the photo app IG, ReekethaRuler. Damn, I've had that handle since 2012, and it's like I don't know what I was watching, but I think it was watching Brown Sugar. And
that's oddly specific.
Yeah, I was watching Brown Sugar, and I think they were talking about Slick
Rick. Old movie in 2012 to be watching. Brown Sugar came out in 06?
02.
No. Yeah. I was like, Brown Sugar came out in 02? Yeah.
So there's a
damn. I cannot quote you I know the movie, but I can't quote you a goddamn thing from that movie now.
Slick Rick the Ruler, and the way he sounds like that, it almost sounds like Reek. So like, I made that my handle random tidbit. But yeah. And I'm feeling real excited about life right now. Football's here. We're back. College football's underway. We got Ohio State in Texas on Saturday. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, we back, man. And we are back. So again, thank you guys again for listening to the Men Who Cry podcast. Like, subscribe, review, tell a friend. I'll see you guys again later in the week.